In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite parts of the Pokemon TCG, how to build a deck. Now, deck building for me is a art. It's a very technical thing when it comes to the competitive side of Pokemon. Obviously, there's a lot of decisions trying to second guess what the meta game is going to be and what people are playing. Adding in tech cards, like which are one-ofs or two-ofs that help you improve certain matchups. Choosing the right deck into those matchups. I find it fascinating. However, if you're just getting into the game, or maybe you're just trying to get into the competitive side, in today's video, we're going to go back to the basics and we're going to take a look at the best way to build a deck if you're getting started in the Pokemon TCG. Now, if you have any questions, drop them below. If you need any help deck building, you've got a particular Pokemon or deck you want to build, let me know below and I will do my best to help. I've done a lot of this kind of stuff as a Pokemon professor and at the league and helping people into the game, and I would love to do that here. I did it on a different channel, if you recognize me or that video, so that will be why. But we're going over it again. We're going to try and update it, answer some of those questions I got asked before in the video themselves, so everyone has the best chance at doing this. So the first thing to do, I think, is a guide. Now, this is going to be sometimes different. I would say in general, though, you're going to aim for around 30 trainers, which are going to be a mix of supporters, item cards, and ace specs. So each deck can have one ace spec. Now, you've probably seen these cards. They are the pink, shiny, bright cards. You're allowed one of those. Any other card in your deck, you're allowed four of, up to four of. Now, you could have four of one type of Pikachu, then four Pikachu V. As long as they're named different, it's fine. So you could have four double and four hops double. Slight naming variations means they do fit in the same deck. So if a deck is 60 cards, around 30 of those, like I say, are going to be trainers, including your ace spec. Then normally around 18 Pokemon and 12 energy. Now, this can greatly differ. There's some decks that want little to no energy. Maybe they've only got 4 special energy cards we've seen before quite often. Some decks want a whole heap. There used to be a deck where I think they had like 40 plus energy, and they'd want to see energy off. Basically, their attack wanted to draw energy off the top. So you just want to fill your deck in that case. There's very niche situations, but in general, for your 60 card deck, 30 trainers, 18 Pokemon, 12 energy is a good starting point. And as you play, you'll notice some turns you just keep drawing too many energy, or you're not finding the energy you need, or maybe you're playing two types of energy, and instead of playing 12 grass and 12 fire, you're now going to play 6 grass, 6 fire, and 4 luminous. Luminous energies count as any type of energy. So there's a few ways to reduce the amount of cards you need in your deck and have space for other things. So the important thing in the Pokemon TCG is seeing more cards. Now, the way you do that is via trainer cards, normally supporters, things like Professor's Research, things like Iono, that let you see and draw more cards. Also Pokemon. So in the latest expansion, we saw things like Kilowattrel, which if it's got a lightning energy attached, it can throw it away and draw up until, I think it's 6. We see things like Pheasantipity EX in every deck, because if your opponent's Pokemon knocks out one of yours, you can draw 3 cards. The most important thing is seeing more cards. If you need energy for turn, drawing more cards is always going to help you find that energy. If you need to find a certain Pokemon or a certain trainer, drawing more cards is always going to be the best way to do that. The other important thing is search in Pokemon. So you're going to want a ton of cards which let you search those specific cards you need. So some things can be more generic, where you're going to just look at more cards. Like something like Pokegear will let you look at the top 7 and find a supporter card there. This doesn't guarantee you the one you need. More specifically, looking for Pokemon, things like Nest Ball lets you grab a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench. No messing around, pick the Pokemon you want, put it onto your bench. Ultra Ball, very similarly, you have to discard 2 cards. You can find literally any Pokemon. It could be a Charmander, a Charmeleon, Charizard. So if you're slowly evolving up your Charmeleon and you need the Charizard for turn, having Ultra Ball in your deck is a good option to find that. Now, the other important thing to note is having multiple copies of a card. You may think, why would I want 3 or 4 Charizard in my deck? And the reason is, first of all, prizes. You have 6 prizes in the Pokemon TCG. So 6 of your cards, without your knowledge, without your choice, are going to go to the side as your prizes. So let's say 2 of your Charizard have gone there and you're only playing 3. Now you've only got 1 left. You're going to need more than 1 Charizard to fight through your opponent's Pokemon, most likely. So you're going to want multiple copies of that. Now, the fact that you've only got 1 Charizard, yet 60 cards to dig through, is going to mean you're really going to struggle to find that Pokemon, which is why things like Ultra Ball help. But even if we play 4 Ultra Ball, drawing a card, there's only 5 chances that that's going to be the card you need out of, like we say, once you've drawn some cards, maybe like 50, 60 cards, which aren't great odds. So we play multiple copies of the most important cards to increase our chances of finding what we need. Now, as a skeleton, I would say for anyone getting into the game, anyone for like a skeleton list of a deck, I would say 4 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra Ball. That is going to find you 4 basic Pokemon. It's going to find you 4 of any Pokemon later in the game when you need them, and 4 Buddy Puffin. These are going to let you find 2 Pokemon which are 70 HP or less. So make sure your deck has those Pokemon. If you're just playing big basic V Pokemon, then you probably don't want them. But if you're playing little ones like Charmander, like Pidgey, like Dreepy, stuff like that, Buddy Puffin is essential. Now, you can cut back on the Nest Ball if you're going to go more into the Puffins if you need the space. But starting out, max consistency, go 4 of those cards. Next, I would say you want 4 Iono. So these are going to let you shuffle your hand, put them at the bottom and draw more depending on how many prizes you have left. So in the early game, you're going to get to see 6 new cards, which is always good. Also, I would say include some research because you're going to have to get used to making decisions where you have to throw away good stuff and maybe you hold it and you have to make the decision, is it worth holding it? Do I need to throw these away and draw 7 new cards with Professor's Research? I'd say play 3 or 4 of those as well. If you play any discard like that with Ultra Ball, Research, then you probably want some kind of recovery. So you may think once your Charizard has gone to the discard pile, that's it for him. There's things like Night Stretcher, things like Super Rod, which are recovery cards. They're going to shuffle your Pokemon and energy back into your deck, or in Night Stretcher's case, take it to your hand. So again, I think if we're playing a heavy research count, let's say in some combination you want 3. So Super Rod lets you get more back, but it goes into your deck. Night Stretcher gets it straight to your hand. So depending what you're playing, what you prefer, 2 of one and 1 of the other, I think is fine. And that's probably a good starting point for you to get deck building. Now, the most important thing you need to do next is decide on your Pokemon. I would say any deck is going to have a Pheasantipity EX in it. So grab one of these. This is probably one of the staples in any deck. Anytime they knock out your Pokemon, you can draw 3 new cards. It's never a bad thing. And it's a great Pokemon to start with. Other than that, you need to sort of think of what you want to build. So if you're going to build a Charizard deck, I know I've used that as an example, but he's a popular Pokemon. You want more basics and then slowly less. So for example, you would want like 4 Charmander, then 3 Charmeleon, and then 3 Charizard, for example. Or you could do 4 Charmander, 1 Charmeleon, and 3 Charizard. The reason you would have less in the middle is because there's a card called Rare Candy. Now this is a great card which lets you skip the middle evolution. So normally, you would have to go Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. Rare Candy lets you go Charmander straight into Charizard, which can be really impactful. It can surprise your opponent. It can speed your deck up massively, meaning you're attacking with Charizard much earlier. So in that case, if you've got a Charizard line, you could go 4 Charmander, you could go 1 Charmeleon, 2 Rare Candy, and 3 Zard, something like that. If you have more Pokemon that you need to skip that middle evolution, let's say there's a Charmander line and a Pidgey line, you could go, your main attacker is going to be Charizard, so you always want more of your main attacker. So you could go something like 4 Charmander, 1 Charmeleon, 4 Rare Candy, because then you can use them between the Pidgeys into Pidgeots and the Charmanders into Charizards. So it's all going to be down to the type of deck you build, the Pokemon you want to choose. But again, something like Rare Candy, if you're playing those stage 2 decks, is a perfect example of a card that needs to be in there. The other thing when building a deck is some things are designed to work with each other. So for example, in the latest sets, I think this is a fantastic time to get into the Pokemon TCG. In the latest sets, they have trainer Pokemon. So things like Iono, things like Hop, things like N, all of those trainers are having their own archetypes put within sets, which means if you build a deck or you buy some packs of Journey together, those packs are going to have cards that already work together quite well. For example, Hop Zacian does 30 damage and then 30 to a bench Pokemon for 1 energy, which is pretty good. Now, if we add Hop's Choice Band, that damage on the active now goes to 60. We add Hop Snorlax, it now goes to 90. We add the Stadium card, it now goes to 120. So all of that is working together in combination. You've also got a Cramorant, which is a different attacker, attacks for some good damage as a single prizer. Now, if you'll notice, the EXs are worth 2 prizes. Some of these Pokemon are only worth 1, so it's nice to have a mix. Obviously, your opponent needs to take 6 prizes. So you don't just want to give them 3 2 prizes. If you can mix in a single prizer, they're then going to have to chase 7 prizes instead of 6. Things like that are perfect introducing players to the game, and I think, like I've just said, now is as good a time, if not the best time as any, to get into the Pokemon TCG. So if you want to get started, but you're not sure where to go, Pokemon actually do a ton of great introduction decks, or I think they're called league decks, which give you a very strong shell. So we've got Dragapult coming out soon. It might even be out by the time this video's out, which is the most powerful deck in format currently. Obviously that list isn't the most powerful. Changing it is going to improve your games massively. However, it's a great starting point. It does a lot of the deck building for you. And like I say, as you play games, as you start to notice things, maybe you're like, I really feel like I've not got enough Dreepy down at times, or I don't have enough options of draw supporters. I've played some and I've got none left for the late game. You'll start to change things. You'll start to be like, maybe I should have 4 Iono. Maybe I should have less of these cards. I've got too many energy. I need some supporters, something to draw cards, some more attackers, some different options other than Dragapult maybe in the same deck. Obviously, as you get more and more into the game and as you play more games, that's going to become more apparent. But that is the Pokemon TCG. I think just playing games with these decks that you build, or just buy off the shelf. Like I said, the League Battle decks are great. They do some theme decks that I don't think they really do them anymore. If you do a pre-release, you get a deck, which are fine. There are 40 card decks. You still need to add more anyway. There's a lot of great entry points. I would say if you're looking to get into the game, a pre-release is a perfect entry point. It's going to give you a little bit of deck building. You're going to get a 40 card deck and then some packs. Switch some of those cards into your packs and just play some games. It's a ton of fun. It's a great environment. If you find a pre-release in your area, go check it out, as honestly, it's one of the best ways into the Pokemon TCG. Hopefully that baseline is some help. Like I said, if you've got any questions whatsoever, drop them in the comments below. We're more than happy to help. Hopefully this video has been any help to you. If it has, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe and like if you want to see more Pokemon content. There's a ton of matches and other stuff coming up on the channel, so that might be some use to you if you're getting into the game. That's all I've got for this episode though, so I will catch you in the next one.